Hey there, and welcome to today's edition of 10 TV Plus. I'm Dylan Robichaud. We have Michael Behrens here. Michael, we got rid of today's storm, and now we've issued 10 TV weather impact alert days. On Saturdays, we have our next system moving on in.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting ready for a round of some heavy rain and wintry weather both. I mean, we've been talking all week about the three systems. We got two of them down. One more to go this weekend.
And this next system might actually be the biggest.
Yeah.
So let's get through this evening, then we'll talk about this next weather impact coming in just in time for the weekend. This afternoon, cold. You don't need a meteorologist to tell you that. You just step out the door and it is cold out there. We do get some gradual clearing as we head into tonight. Very cold as we head into tomorrow morning as well. And in fact, as we look at the next few days, morning lows, Friday will be the coldest out of the three. Saturday and Sunday, we are in the middle and upper 20s. Not in view is next Monday and Tuesday, which could be even colder than what we're going to see out there on your Friday. A flurry or two possible this evening, but as we head towards late tonight, we actually get rid of the clouds. That's going to allow things to really cool down, but for the most part, we keep things pretty dry. Now we can circle back around to talking about that weekend event. Saturday, rain all day long. Sunday, looking at some snowfall. We're going to talk about both right now in detail. We have issued two 10 TV weather impact alert days for Saturday night going into Sunday. All right, so we're looking at heavy rainfall, which will be heaviest Saturday night going into Sunday morning, changing the snow though by Sunday morning. So be careful if you are going to be heading out and about. We are concerned about the risk of flooding. Counties down here shaded in green. We will be tracking the risk of some small stream flooding. So storm drains, anything like that, you might want to clear them out because it's been a long time since we've had rain this heavy. It's been a long time. What is fueling this is a very active jet stream here. Look at this. Friday night, Saturday, there it is right there. See that dip right there where it kind of dips down to the deep south? That is going to allow for a conveyor belt to form. So now we're transporting moisture in from the south, and that's going to lead to ample moisture heading into Saturday. So let's talk about this right now and watch how quickly this evolves. Right now we have low pressure, and just to the north of that low right there, we see that warm front. That's going to be where we see the heaviest rainfall forming. And heading into Saturday, you can see that we start off with the rain that eventually transition to snow here early on Sunday as we see that cold air being dragged in on the backside of that front. So rain chances highest on Saturday, okay? About 100% chance. Sunday, not as bad. Monday and Tuesday dry, a few more chances of rain heading into Wednesday and Thursday, but I do want to focus a bit on that. Also, the snowfall here. Again, this is predominantly more of a rain event, but some of the models right now on Sunday showing that we could see more than an inch here for the cities and towns shaded in that blue. So get ready for that. Even places like Bucyrus showing up as 2 inches or more. That might be a little bit of a stretch, but generally speaking, as you head further to the north, you get those darker blue colors. We could be looking at more snow up there. Snow is something that we could use. I mean, so far this winter, Columbus, we've only had 12.5 inches. Normal is about 19.5. So we're running about a 7-inch deficit from where we should be for this time of the year. The other piece of the weather puzzle is this brutal blast of cold air that's going to come pouring in from the north. So these right here are temperature anomalies. Notice that Ohio and much of the Midwest, we're looking at normal temperatures for Friday. As this comes in, you can actually watch that cold air push towards the Midwest and eventually into the Buckeye State, arriving sometime Sunday night going into Monday. I'm warning you right now, Monday morning, going into Tuesday, dress warm because it is going to be very cold out there as we have that cold air moving on in. How cold? About 12 degrees here on Monday morning, 10 degrees on Tuesday, 11 here on Wednesday morning. So I just want you to be ready for that. All right, 7-day forecast shows that we are going to be tracking that rain here on Saturday. Let's actually zoom in a little bit closer so I can give you a bit of a better idea on how this will evolve. 4 o'clock in the morning, tracking all snow out there. And then heading towards 8 o'clock, we start to kind of make the transition back to a rain-snow mix. And then we're tracking light rain here throughout the day. By 7 p.m., this is when that weather impact goes into effect as we're going to be tracking some heavy precipitation rolling into the region. Notice this here by 4 o'clock in the morning, very heavy downpours moving in across the region in that yellow shaded color. And then here's that freezing line moving off to the southeast. By 10 o'clock, we make that switch back to snow, and then we're going to be tracking snow here heading into parts of Sunday. So as that moves out of here, I'm thinking by Sunday night we clear things up. That will allow things to be a little bit better. Heading into next week, though, get ready for that cold blast of air. Tuesday and Wednesday, we are only looking at highs here in the 20s, nighttime lows pretty close to the single digits. So this will more likely than not be the coldest air that we've had since January.
Yeah, I mean, a real 180 from the milder weather again we had in January for parts of it at least, and now we are just right back where we should be for this time of the year.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, snowfall, take it or leave it. I think that after we get rid of the snow on Sunday, we should be pretty storm-free for at least some time, so that should be good.
Well, that's good. And you know, the winter storms that have been coming through this week, while we've been dealing with kind of the colder side of it, other parts of the country have been dealing with the more severe side of this wintry weather. Further to the south, the same system was bringing, again, severe storms to parts of the Gulf Coast region. Severe storms tore across the south Wednesday night, causing damage in a number of spots and prompting numerous tornado warnings. This video here showing some of the damage in Columbia, Mississippi, late Wednesday. Residents describe what they saw as storms rolled through.
I was on the phone with my wife, so I told her, I said, baby, I think the tornado's coming towards our house. I heard her start screaming. I heard a loud noise, and I stopped, waited a few seconds, let the tornado clear that neighborhood, and I came home. At which time I saw, you know, significant damage to my roof, trees down, power lines. My wife's car was hit by a fence that's a solid 50 yards from here. It just really banged up the neighborhood, and it hit our house directly.
As again, some more of that damage from down in Mississippi. I want to show you the radar from the last 18 hours here as those storms raced across parts of Mississippi into Alabama and Georgia last night, leaving behind numerous reports of severe weather. You can see some of those strongest cells out there concentrated between the Gulf Coast and about Jackson, Mississippi. 12 reports as of this morning for severe weather, including 2 tornado reports from down there and several reports of thunderstorm wind damage, and that same system could cause more severe weather as we head through later today. Level 1 out of 5 risk across southern portions of Georgia and northern portions of Florida. I mean, not unusual this time of year to see dual threat systems like this, where you get snow on one side and severe weather to the south.
And I'm a little bit worried about some of those same locations that were hit last night being hit again on Saturday.
Yeah.
The level 3 out, or the day 3 outlook from the Storm Prediction Center has parts of Tennessee and Alabama, Mississippi in enhanced risk, which is pretty high. So I'm a little bit worried about that.
And I mean, and kind of the same setup, possibly even stronger than what we had, like you said, for yesterday, where it's these big country-spanning systems that we deal with the snow, and other parts of the country deal with severe weather.
Yep, and that looks like for this next round on Saturday, we kind of get the best of both worlds. We get the heavy rain, the downpours, and then on the backside, we do get the snow. So a little mix of everything.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll be keeping you covered throughout the weekend as well. And now for some environment news. AI, of course, a groundbreaking tool that some say will help fight climate change. But today there are also some concerns around the technology. Experts are warning of hidden environmental costs that come with AI. New research warns that the expansion of AI could create higher climate risk. A report from Britain's Royal Academy of Engineering calls for the UK government to receive mandatory reporting from tech companies on their power and water usage. Experts say demands for natural resources are skyrocketing and must be managed wisely.
The worst case scenario is that we will find ourselves making difficult choices when it comes to who has access to power, whether it's the data centers or normal people.
We know that AI can help mitigate climate change, but we also know that its current trajectory is unsustainable.
A massive player in artificial intelligence, of course, is Intel, which is coming to Central Ohio. The state's contract with Intel does address many potential issues with environmental impacts, but what is unclear is about how the project conditions which Intel must operate under the CHIPS Act. Nonprofits have called for transparency from the chips maker. Chips Communities United is pushing for Intel to agree on a community pact in Licking County before the project is complete, publicly disclosing what types of pollution could be released into the air and water. In more environmental news today, actions taken by the Trump administration could affect you. The White House has told states to stop spending money on electric vehicle charging infrastructure. The Biden administration created the National Electric Vehicle Infrastructure Program in 2021. It allows states to install chargers that require commercial power lines but can charge an EV in as little as 20 minutes. It's meant to help drivers during road trips when charging stations are too far apart.
I mean, even if there are rest areas, anywhere on the way to somewhere out of town would be very helpful.
The program promised to invest $5 billion in charging stations across the state, but for now, under the new directive, no funding will be approved or distributed. Keep in mind, the administration may need an act of Congress to officially freeze the state's spending. We wanted to take a look at the charging stations that are supposed to be available through the program here in Ohio. This is a map of the charging stations that were announced. Ohio was the first in the nation to activate a charging station through the NEVI program. 10 TV was there in Madison County back in December of 2023 when the first of 19 charging stations was unveiled. And finally, if you think winter weather has been rough this year, brace yourself, as experts say it's likely to get worse in the future due to those climate change impacts. It's bound to be a tough job, making it even harder for first responders across the country. Many now want better equipment and training to face the elements. Scott McFarland has the story.
In Lowville, New York, a relentless snow belt near Lake Ontario, the Sheriff's Department is being forced to adapt in the face of worsening lake effect snow.
Sometimes with just inches, it could be a foot of snow in a matter of a couple of hours.
A foot in a couple of hours.
Sure.
And you can't always see it coming.
Right.
Sheriff Mike Carpinelli says he worked with local legislators for years to secure funding for upgraded equipment, like this snow dune climbing all-terrain version of a police car, which has been critical for responding to emergencies in a county where nearly 200 inches of snow can fall in a winter.
We want to get there as fast as we can, but as safe as we can.
Yep.
It's no good if our guys get stranded or hurt. Sometimes it could be as quick as a half hour, or it could be as long as a couple hours.
It's not just here in the community of Barnes Corners, New York, but other communities nationwide where the changing climate has opened a fire hose of lake effect snow, wider and stronger.
It certainly seems like the new normal. The planet continues to warm.
Dan Horton runs Northwestern University's Climate Change Research Group near Chicago.
Because of fossil-fueled global warming, our lakes are warming, and so they're not freezing as much in the winter. So typically, the lake shuts off lake effect snow when it freezes, and that freezing point is occurring later and later each season.
A federal government study in 2017 warned this risk was looming. A paradox of warmer weather leading to more snow in these areas as the lakes become super fuel for lake effect snow bursts. In Michigan and Maine, police have precision driving training to better navigate heavier precipitation. U.S. Marshals tell CBS News they've boosted their snowmobile and helicopter evacuation training for northern cities. While Sheriff Carpinelli says the success they've seen with the new equipment gives neighboring counties a path to follow.
And finally today, let's check out some new video into us here at 10 TV. 2 teams, 2 minutes, and all the snowballs you can throw. Those are the rules for the 35th annual International Snowball Fight over in Japan, where around 120 teams were whittled down to one winner over the course of a day. The organizers say it's the largest event of its kind in the country, where snowball fights are known as, well, sports that, sports. They even campaign to take it into the Winter Olympics. That's crazy. A professional snowball fight. It looks like almost like the same type of energy you'd bring like paintball.
I would not want to get in the middle of that.
I mean, they look like they take that very seriously. That is not a calm snowball fight.
I would
on the
do
playground.
it if I had a helmet or something like that.
Hope it's a fluffy snow when they come out there. And speaking of snow, the roof of a high school gymnasium fully collapsed on Tuesday after a historic snowstorm in Medford, Oregon. That was according to the Medford School District officials. You can see the dust kind of piling up there and then the roof eventually fully collapsing. School officials said multiple beams supporting the roof cracked under the weight of an estimated 700,000 pounds of snow. A crack in one of its trusses was first found last week, forcing the evacuation and closure of the gym. According to KOIN, no one was injured and the investigation is underway. into the exact cause of that collapse. You can see some drone video there after it went down.
I used to live out there in that part of the country. They don't get a lot of snow in Medford. And so the fact that they had enough to create a roof collapse is, you know, such an anomaly from what they're used to.
And I mean, like I said, 700,000 pounds, that is not a little bit of snow. That is a lot of snow coming down on top of that roof.
For sure. Wow. Hopefully everyone was safe there.
Yeah, the good news, they caught it early so they could close it off before the roof came down.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, that will do it for us here on 10 TV Plus. Chief Meteorologist Jerry Martz will have more at 6 o'clock on this weekend's rain.